Some marriages fall apart in silence, others become something far darker. In Deep Water, passion isn't lost, it mutates. Directed by Adrian Lane, the filmmaker behind erotic thrillers like Fatal Attraction or Unfaithful, Deep Water marks his return to cinema after nearly 20 years away from directing. Unfittingly, he returns not with redemption, but with obsession. Based on the 1957 novel by Patricia Highsmith, the story introduces us to Big Bang Allen, played by Ben Affleck, a wealthy, intelligent, emotionally unreadable man living what appears to be a perfect suburban life. At his side is Melinda, portrayed by Ana de Armas, beautiful, unpredictable, provocative. A woman who openly entertains lovers, often in front of her husband, and strangely, Big allows it. At first, their marriage looks broken, then it begins to feel like a game, a dangerous one, because whenever one of Belinda's lovers disappears, Big is always somewhere nearby, and soon what begins as psychological discomfort evolves into something darker, something almost predatory. The genius of Deep Water isn't in what it shows, it's in what it refuses to explain. Line directs every scene like a slow seduction, long silences, lingering glances, uncomfortable pauses. Every dinner party feels like an interrogation, every smile like a threat. And at the center of it all is Ben Affleck, delivering one of the most restrained performances of his later career. Big rarely raises his voice, rarely reacts, but Affleck turns that silence into something terrifying. His calm becomes suspicion, his stillness becomes a menace, and opposite him, Ana de Armas is magnetic. Melinda isn't simple unfaithful, she is performative. She flirts not only to seduce, but to provoke, to test, to manipulate. De Armas brings an unpredictable energy to every scene, sometimes playful, sometimes cruel, sometimes almost childlike. And when these two share the screen, the chemistry is impossible to ignore. Interestingly, the chemistry wasn't entirely fictional. During production, Affleck and De Armas began a real-life relationship, something director Adrian Lane later admitted he noticed almost immediately during camera's test. According to Lane, the tension between them didn't need to be created, it was already there. That authenticity gives Deep Water an uncomfortable intimacy, as though the camera is witnessing something too personal, too private. But behind the performances, the production itself has its own fascinating story. Filming began in late 2019 in New Orleans, a city whose humid atmosphere perfectly complements the film's suffocating sexuality. The southern architecture, the warm lighting, the quiet suburban space all become characters in the story themselves. The film was originally intended for theatrical release, but like many productions of its era, it faced repeated delays due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Its release date shifted multiple times before the studio ultimately pulled it from theaters altogether. Instead, in 2022, Deep Water premiered on Hulu in the United States and on Amazon Prime Video internationally. And then there's the music. The score was composed by Barco Metrani, known for bringing tension and emotional unease to films across multiple genders. In Deep Water, Beltrami doesn't overwhelm the sense, he haunts them. Low strings, minimalistic rhythms, quiet pulses that seem to breathe beneath conversations. Sometimes the score feels less like music and more like Big's internal thoughts. Never obvious, always unsettling. Visually, cinematographer Gilles Brill captures the film with warm tones and intimate framing, often trapping characters within doorways, windows, mirrors, and reflections. Nothing feels accidental. Even moments of domestic normalcy carry an undercurrent of danger. A child's birthday party, a glass of wine, a bicycle ride. Everything feels one breath away from violence, and perhaps that's what makes Deepwater so unusual. This isn't in a traditional thriller. There are no dramatic chase sequences, no explosive confrontations, no clear heroes. Instead, it asks a far more uncomfortable questions. How far can love be twisted before it stops being love at all? Critics were divided. Some call it messy, others call it hypnotic, and audiences online seems equally split. Deepwater isn't interested in giving you answers. It wants you uncomfortable. It wants you questioning every smile, every kiss, every silence. And by the time the credits roll, you may not know exactly what you have witnessed. But one thing becomes impossible to ignore. Sometimes the most dangerous relationships are the ones that never appear broken.